All right, so let's take a look at a division problem with decimals that just doesn't end. As fifth graders, we're only asked to go to the thousandths place. So let's take a look at, how do I handle that? What do I do when I just keep adding zeros and the number just won't end? So we'll start with 13 and 88 hundredths divided by 2 and 1/10. As we seen in the first video, is I'm going to come down and write my 13 88 hundredths. I'm going to divide that by 2 and 1/10. Just to recap, there is another video, and you may want to check it out. It has a little more detail to some of the mathematical concepts behind some of the strategies in place. So, for sake of time, I'm going to bypass a lot of those and really just focus on the strategy and the procedure to solve. So, if you have some questions about why we're moving the decimals, how we're moving them, please check out the first video. So we're going to take a look at our divisor in 2.1. We really want that decimal to come to the right because we want our divisor to be a whole number. So let's move our decimal one place. Oops. Get on the right app. We'll move one place to the right. We're going to place it right here, and then whatever we do to the outside, so to speak, we also want to do to the inside. So we're going to move our decimal here over one place. So now I'm looking at a whole number with my divisor, and then I have shifted the decimal to represent or to reflect the change on the divisor with the dividend. And then I can also come on up top here and see I can place my decimal within my soon-to-be quotient. Now I'm going to take a look, and we'll start like we did last time with our 21s. And again, knowing your multiplication facts of your 21s is probably not going to be on everybody's hot seat. So we've got extra space over here on the left that we can work those problems out, and we really want to push and encourage everyone to do so that we're accurate. So I'm going to start with the number 1 here. Can I get a group of 21 out of 1? And the answer is no, I cannot. So then I'm going to widen it to 13. Can I get a group of 21 out of 13? Once again, I find myself at a no, you cannot. So I widen it a third place. What about 21 out of 138? Finally, I have an area that I can work with, or a number I can work with. So need to step over, and let's start. I'm a firm believer in just start with the 5s. It gives me a middle point to say, do I need to go up or down? So I know that 21 times 5 is 105. I'm close, but I'm not quite close enough. So let's jump up by 1. We'll go 21 times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. And then 2 times 6 is 12. 126. Feel really good about that. If you're just not real sure, then jump up a number. It doesn't hurt to have extra facts over here because you may need them sooner than later. So that would be 147. So I know for sure that my answer is 6. Now where I have came over the whole 3 digits here to find a number divisible by 21, it's really important that I write my 6 above the furthest number to the right in that problem. So I'm going to write my 6 above the 8 in this problem, and then I know 6 times 21 is 126. Now, since division is repeated subtraction, I'm going to subtract that, and I get 2 and 1. And again, that quick quality check, I'm going to ask myself, is my difference down here, is that number less than my divisor? And yes, it is. 12 is less than 21. And now it's time to drop my 8 down. And so my 8 comes here, and then I start that process all over again. How many groups of 21 can I get out of 28? What's great about this is my facts are over here, and they can really work for me. I'm setting again with another 6. Again, I'm very close with 6. So here is a 6. I get 126 again, and then I find the difference. And I have 2. 2 is less than 21. All is good. Now, once again, I know that when I've got this remainder, this remaining number, I'm not done. So I have to come up here without changing the value. I can add a 0 here. I'm going to extend my line, and then I'm going to bring the 0 down. And my 0 makes my 2 into 20. Now you ask yourself, How many groups of 21 can come out of 20? Be careful here, because I think sometimes we want to say, hey, can I take a group of 21 out of 20? And the answer is no. And then you start to not think numerically. The question needs to be framed as such. How many groups of 21 can come out of 20? And that answer is 0. And I want to make sure that I register a 0 above the 0 I just added, because technically speaking, 0 times 21 is 0, and then the difference would be 20. And then I would add my another 0 and then begin to work. But however, a lot of times, just part of the strategy is we don't have to work that out. We simply add another 0 and then we drop it down, much like we did up here with the 1, 3, and 8 at the beginning of our problem. However, it's my fear that if we don't register or record this 0 here, then we are now looking at 200, and then obviously we'll get to that part in a minute, but that you would come in and put your next number here without putting that 0 in. So it's hugely important that I put my 0 here, because what that was telling me is that when I had just 20, 21 can go into 20 0 times. I needed to add another 0, drop it. Now I'm looking at 200. So at this point, I may need to increase my numbers, because the greatest number I have is a 7 over here in my facts, and that is not quite close enough. So I'm going to take a look at, I know that 21 times 10 is 210, so pretty safe feeling that 21 times 9 is going to be my number. Let's take a look at it. 189, that's close as we're going to get without going over. Put a 9 there, 189 minus, and then we would get, we're going to regroup across the zeros here. So 10 divided by, or 10 minus 9, sorry, 1, so we would get 11. Now at this point, as 5th graders, you can stop. You're only responsible to going to the thousandth place, so that you could round this number to the hundredth place. So to round this to the hundredth place, I need to look at the hundredth place, and then we'll go to the right and say, well, the 9 would push the hundredth place up to 1, and that our rounded number would be 6 61 hundredths. So when you get a problem that will not end, we just stop at the thousandths, drop as many zeros as you need, but again, don't go any more than 3 places past the decimal, and then round to the hundreds. Hope this helps, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.